Hello, welcome. In this video, we are finally doing a little update on what we've been up to. I obviously have been up to a lot less than Elena.
I don't know, it's feeling very Groundhog Day over here.
What we've been reading, what we have in the pipeline, just a little check-in.
Yep. So I'll just dive in because I've got a doozy of a life update. I gave birth to my beautiful baby girl at the end of March. She's doing great. Erin was there in the delivery room, so
I need therapy.
so do I. But you know what? I'm doing great. Pretty much fully recovered. I feel amazing, especially compared to the end of my pregnancy.
Yeah.
I'm like a whole new woman.
You've done awesome. I can't believe how well you've done.
Thank you.
I was not as put together 5 weeks postpartum as you are.
Well, I never could have done it without you.
Aww.
So we're learning and setting our new routines. But honestly, I think she's got us on easy mode. She's a good baby.
She is. And guess what? She's letting me babysit for the first time this coming weekend. So I'm so excited.
Me and hubby are going out. What's going on with you?
Same old. Work, school, life. As you can see, we are in a new location. This is going to be my library. I have finally convinced hubby to create me the library of my dreams. It's taking a little bit more time than I would have wished, but he's getting there. We have bookshelves, and I think it'll be really cool. I need to figure out if I'm going to paint the bookshelves a color or leave them white. I haven't really decided, but that's very exciting.
So exciting. I cannot wait to start zhuzhing up these bad boys and get books on all the shelves.
I was going to say, I'm probably going to need to borrow some of your books to fill out these shelves.
Great, because Lord knows they're all over my house. I just have stacks of books on the ground.
I don't have enough, so I think I'll need some help. And I want it to look full. It's going to be embarrassing if I can't fill it up.
There's one shelf.
Yeah.
Yeah, speaking of reading, I'm definitely learning that the Kindle is coming in clutch in this newborn phase. Being able to hold it and read one-handed, it's key. I wouldn't be getting any reading done if it weren't for the Kindle. Trying to read a hardback with the baby.
Yeah, for sure. Have you been doing any audio or not?
I have been doing some audio. In fact, are we ready to jump in?
Yeah, let's jump into the reading.
Yeah, so audio-wise, I just finished the second book in the Scholomance series.
On audio?
On audio.
How was that?
I really like the narrator, and I continue to just love this series. I eat it up. It is so funny to me, so delightful. I think the humor is very nerdy and really just tickles me so much. And they really feel like teenagers to me. And it's quite dark. It's probably the most dark academia book I've really read. It feels so dark academia, we're consulting decrepit, falling apart books in the library
and stuff.
Yeah. The library's moving around trying to keep you from the good stuff.
So I wrote this in a comment to somebody, but I don't think I actually told you that I tried to read this and I basically DNF'd it.
What? Betrayal.
I know. I couldn't get into it.
Are you serious?
I found the way that the author started explaining the world, the world building, I found really annoying.
Oh, well, that's the whole thing.
I don't know. I found it very info dump, but also just not smooth. And it was too complicated too soon. I don't know. Maybe I was just not in the right mindset. I put it down after a couple chapters.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
I love them. What you're saying about how the writing is structured is true. There's a lot of asides and interruptions of the narrative to explain how the school works.
I didn't like that. It felt too complicated.
Yeah, it is complicated.
And you know how I am. I have to understand it fully to move on.
True.
So I felt it was really
I'm
bogged
happy
down.
to just be carried.
Yeah, you like to just sort of go with the flow.
Yeah, if that annoyed you, then I don't know that you would enjoy it. But I just think the way that the school works is hilarious. A sentient building.
Yeah.
And the main character, Elle, is so hilarious. She is so bitchy.
Oh,
she kind of reminds me of you.
Yeah.
And one thing I like is she stays bitchy. Even once they get into the romance and she makes some friends, she's just like that.
She's true to herself.
She's just like that.
Yeah.
Book 2 ended on the most insane cliffhanger. I had tears. So book 3 will be happening as soon as possible.
What else have you been doing on audio? Anything?
Nope.
Oh.
Actually, I also have been sort of jumping back and forth in the Bloodsworn saga.
That's called the Bloodsworn saga? I always thought it was just called the Shadow of the Gods saga.
Is it saga? I'm going to be...
Trilogy.
It just says the Bloodsworn on the side. I'm on the third one now. I'm reading it on my Kindle, though. I only have a physical copy of the first book, which is this one, The Shadow of the Gods. It's like an epic Viking-inspired fantasy. It's bonkers.
Yeah.
The second one, I thought it was a little bit too slow. It was a lot of traveling. This is definitely one where
Robin Hobb. I swear to God, all I think of when I think of traveling in fantasy is Robin Hobb.
Yeah, same vibe. There are a lot of cinematic fight scenes in this series, that's for sure. In fact, I'm on the third book. I'm 65% of the way into the book, and we're on the final battle, and I think it's going to take up the rest of it.
Book. I like that.
Yeah.
It feels more realistic that those things would take a long time.
The fate of the world is not getting decided in a few hours.
Right.
I've said before that these books are like Skyrim in a book, and that's 100% what's going on here. So I really like them, though. And the third one is hitting home.
Okay.
What you got going on?
Audio-wise, I recently read the second in the Veronica Speedwell series on audio. I read the first one, so this was a different vibe. And I actually really, really liked it.
How's the narrator?
I thought the narrator was exactly what I would have expected Veronica to sound like.
Ooh, okay, because that could make or break.
It really could, especially with such a dynamic main character. It really needs to match up, and it does perfectly. I had to kind of get used to her male voice type thing,
Yeah, always.
But I got into it, and I really, really liked this book. It's like a murder mystery set in Victorian, like the upper echelons of Victorian England. I didn't care at all about the murder mystery, but I am so invested in Veronica as a main character. I just want the world for her. I literally laugh out loud at pretty much everything she says.
Aww.
She is so witty. Her banter is so good. Her one-liners crack me up. I just like reading about her. Does that make sense? The murder, and you can tell the author knows it. The murder mystery is very much a backdrop to just present to you this hilariously perfect main character. And her banter with the love interest Stoker is so spot on. I almost jumped right into the third book after finishing it because I didn't want to leave the vibe. Do you know what I mean? And I think that speaks a lot for the book.
Yeah.
Other things I've been listening to recently are Not for the Faint of Heart by Lex Croucher. This is a Robin Hood retelling, and I read it specifically for our hilarious Robin Hood video that we did.
Our new Crush series.
Yeah, we are turning that into a series, by the way. I listened to this on audio, and I actually did not prefer it and kind of wished I'd read it. I didn't it was like a dual POV with two narrator type situation. And I feel like that can be really hit and miss. If you don't like one narrator, you end up not liking that character, and that's not really fair. And that's kind of what happened here. But I did think that this was a very fresh take on an old legend. It follows the granddaughter of Robin Hood and her accidental captive. It's like a grumpy sunshine romance, but the romance is a subplot. And this is more atmosphere than action, but I did enjoy it. I kind of just wish I had read it instead of listened to it. I also listened to The Last One at the Wedding by Jason something.
I didn't even know you read this.
So I read this for a book club because this is literally I would never pick this up. You would never pick this.
Really?
You might pick it up.
Okay.
It's just like a thriller. It was supposed, or I thought it was boring. Maybe it wasn't a thriller. Then I don't really know how to categorize it, but it was kind of boring. There were not, all the twists and turns were not surprising to me or particularly compelling. The main character is a middle-aged white man, and listening to it on audio means that you're literally in your head listening to a middle-aged white man. I don't care about that perspective at all.
I don't need that POV.
I felt kind of trapped listening to him throughout the entire book.
We're gonna get a mean comment about this.
We are,
for sure.
and I apologize. If that's your jam, I get it. But just personally, that's not really what I want to read. And I found the main character, Frank, to be really annoying and frustrating. He, in this book,
his name's Frank.
His name is Frank. And he is endearing. He works at UPS and he works hard. And there are things about him that are admirable.
We are not saying we hate middle-aged white men.
Do you think I've gone overboard with my...
No.
I just particularly don't relate to or empathize with
or
that
have
POV.
curiosity about.
Right. This was a story where he goes to the wedding of his previously estranged daughter, who is marrying the son of a billionaire. That's just also really not a story that I'm interested in hearing about.
Right. You would never pick this.
Right.
This is funny.
The whole theme of the book is basically what you would do for your kids, how your perspective changes after having kids, and basically, what it means to be a parent. And I feel like I should relate to that. I just didn't necessarily relate to it from Frank. I think I gave this like 2.5 stars, which was, by the way, the very lowest of the book club. Everybody else liked it.
It's kind of fun when one person in the book club is like not as into it. It makes for a more interesting discussion than when everyone's like, it was good.
I think you're right, but I definitely felt like the negative Nancy. Do you know what I mean? Or kind of like I was being judgmental for the sake of it, which maybe I am, but that's also my prerogative.
True.
So, whatever.
Very true.
The last audio that I want to mention is, of course, the Red Rising trilogy. I listened to the first 2 in this trilogy on Audible, and I really, really love the narrator and his, I think, Irish accent. I thought it fit Darrow perfectly. And this trilogy stays firmly in Darrow, the main character's POV, for all 3 books. And that's a lot. For better or for worse, like, you're stuck in his head. And it's got to be a good narrator to make that work.
True.
So I think he does a great job. But I did read a physical copy of the 3rd and final in the series. And I did enjoy reading it, but I missed the voice.
Okay.
I did
like
miss
the nuances and the intonation and stuff.
So Elena's read the first in this series, but for those who haven't, this is an epic space opera. It follows Darrow. He was born into the lowest class of society, and he basically infiltrates the highest class of society and tries to take it down from within.
Let's go.
And I did really appreciate the scope of this story. There's lots of characters, and particularly the arcs in the 3rd book I thought were really good.
Don't spoil anything for
I'm not
me.
going to spoil anything, but I will agree with your take from Red Rising, which was that you thought that the female characters were not really well developed and basically were only there to further Darrow and his hero's journey.
Yeah.
And having read all 3, I still think that's probably rings true. There are some really interesting female characters, but they're still like underdeveloped. They're still neglected. Pierce Brown still basically tells instead of shows a lot of things about them, and it's very obvious. And I just felt like he should have focused more on them and given them a bit more depth than he did. And I really think like the series would have been knockout 5-star fully if he
take
had
it to
done
the
that,
next level.
for sure. Like I was never fully convinced by Virginia, by Victra, all these like really powerful badass women, but I just don't think that he went there enough.
Yeah, that's fair. Still really enjoyed Red Rising.
I really want you to finish it, and I'm moving on to Iron Gold.
Okay.
As soon as I'm done with my current audio.
I didn't realize that it was like a trilogy, and then like I didn't realize they were separated that way.
Yeah.
And it's so intimidating to think about like a 7 or 8 book series.
It is. But it has inspired me to continue soon because like there are a lot of nuances that I don't want to miss. And as you guys know, I'm trying to read straight through while I'm still in the mindset for all of these like full series.
This is your current like
my thing. So like
MO is go through
I want
the
to
whole
just
series.
go right to the next one, and I am going to stick with that, even though this is taking up a large chunk of my reading time.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've been stuck in some series too, so I get it. And then you do sort of feel like, okay.
Like I'm a one-trick horse
this up?
right now. Yeah. Speaking of, though, I'm desperate for you to tell us about Oathbound.
Oh my goodness. Okay, let's discuss. So, Oathbound by Tracey Deonn. It is the 3rd book in the Legendborn cycle series. The first book, Legendborn, is one of my all-time favorite YA fantasy books.
Me too.
It is outstanding. It's an Arthurian legend set on the campus of Chapel Hill. To take an Arthurian legend and make it fresh and exciting and new is impressive.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she knocks it out of the park with this one. I remember screaming while reading that book.
Too.
Then book 2, I struggled with a little bit.
Me too.
Still had lots of fun. It started to feel like, okay, we're kind of on a wild goose chase now.
Mm-hmm.
The narrative is not feeling as tidy.
Mm-hmm.
And I just finished book 3, and I have to say I am disappointed. I'm giving it 3 stars because it's not bad.
I think we should say first off that both Elena and I thought this was a trilogy.
True. I thought that this was going to be like the capstone, you know?
Right. And it's not. It's a 5-book series. So this, instead of being the finale, was like painfully in the middle. Yeah.
And that's exactly what it suffered from. It was just unnecessarily long. Not all that much actually happened. There's a specific trope that I personally really dislike. I think it kind of is lazy writing, and that really bogged down this book. I won't say what it is because it's a spoiler, but if you're curious, I did say what it is in my Goodreads review. And yeah, overall, I just felt a little disappointed. I will say there were a lot of great Nick moments in this book.
You're a Nick girl.
Yeah, this series has a delightful little love triangle. A classic YA love. What's YA without love triangle?
I will say that you have convinced me to not pick this book up. I was going to read it because I thought it was the third and final, but now that I know there's only 3 of 5, I am not spending the time and energy to get back into this for something you thought was a 3-star read when I still then have to wait another year to 2 years for the next and then the next.
I do think I might wait until book 5 comes out as well, because this one took like 3 years or something.
Yeah, no, it didn't. Did it?
And the other series that I am wrapping up right now is the Scythe series. I'm on the 3rd book, The Toll. This is a YA dystopian situation where no one can die. So there's a special class of people called Scythes that have to go around gleaning people to keep the population down. Book 1, outstanding. I read it in 1 day. Book 2, it took me weeks. That book 2 issue can sometimes just
I usually love it, but yeah, this is not sounding promising.
I've had a lot of book 2 flops.
To be fair, that was a pretty tumultuous time
That's
when you
true.
were reading it.
That's a good point. I started it before I gave birth, and I didn't finish it until after giving birth.
And that's kind of a rough read for...
Right? I was in the hospital for hypertension trying to read this like depressing, like
sci-fi dystopian. Yeah.
It was okay. It was okay. The 3rd book is improved, in my opinion. I am maybe 2/3 of the way through this right now. In fact, my goal is to finish it today, though. Yeah, I do find it quite a quick read if I put my mind to it. In book 2, I felt annoyed with where the plot was going. I felt like in book 1, it was very fresh and different. And then in book 2, I was like, wait, no, this is just going the way of all dystopian books. And now I'm like, oh, okay, no, we still got something a little different to happen.
Yeah.
So I'm back on board.
In the romance category, I haven't been reading very much, but I did get my hands on the Vows by Jessica Joyce. This has been on my radar pretty much since it came out because I thought the cover was so pretty. And I heard a lot of rave reviews about Jessica Joyce. This is a second chance romance. 2 exes, Georgia and Eli, basically are forced to be together to save their mutual BFF's wedding in Napa Valley.
They have to save the wedding?
Yeah. Aww. They have to like...
Good friends.
Yeah, I know. Kind of far-fetched, to be fair. But I thought a Napa Valley setting, like, heck yes. But this really fell flat to me. I did really like some of the issues in their relationship, even though I felt like it was kind of like shoved down our throats. But the issues felt realistic. But my main problem was, if you're going to set a book in Napa Valley, I'm going to need some atmosphere. Like, I'm going to really need you to take that setting and run with it. And this could have been actually set anywhere. She did not utilize
that's
the vineyard at all, or like the beautiful surroundings. And I really felt like that let this book down. I was disappointed. I've been disappointed with a lot of romances recently. I also read My Lady Jane by 3 authors. I'm sorry, I don't have the authors on hand, and I'm not looking.
We'll put them on the screen.
We'll put on the screen. This
3
is
authors.
Yeah, and that can be very hit and miss, but sometimes that hits really well. I mean, like, we love The Scarlet Princess,
True.
and that has 2 authors.
Yeah, but 3, that's a lot of cooks in the kitchen.
That is a lot of, and you can tell. In my opinion, you can tell. This is an alternate reality historical fiction fantasy about Lady Jane Grey, who is in the real world known as the 9-Day Queen of England. She obviously dies in real life, but she lives in this alternate reality. There's also a lot of fantasy elements.
There's the one...
What? Yes.
Okay.
So this is also a TV show on Amazon Prime, and they very cruelly canceled it after one season. But I loved the TV show.
I feel like it was a hit. I don't know why they canceled it.
I know. A lot of people don't, but they did. And I thought, well, I'm going to read the book to sort of like relive it.
Yeah.
The book did nowhere near as good as the show. It was not as funny or as witty. I've heard a lot of people like refer to the book as like a very Princess Bride or Monty Python type book. And it should be because the show is. But I did not get that in the book. It just really didn't hit. And the one thing that the show has going for it so hard is that the chemistry between the main characters is like off the charts. But it was nowhere to be seen in this YA silly version in the book. I just was really disappointed by it.
That's such a shame.
I know. So now I can't have the book. The show is canceled. Just all around upsetting.
Just a letdown in every way.
Yeah.
Okay, I also did want to include 2 things that I am reading since becoming a new parent. Aaron's a pro, and frankly, when I have parenting questions, I text Aaron.
The blind leading the blind.
But sometimes it's like 2 a.m. and
You're
texting
kind.
Aaron,
Yeah.
is not on the table. So there's 2 things that I've been getting into. First, we have Cribsheet by Emily Oster. This covers like a wide range of topics, and I've sort of been dipping in and out of this. I have also heard, I just heard this recently, I guess Emily Oster is kind of off her rocker now.
Oh, I didn't know this.
Yeah, this is like a whole
Drama.
a whole thing. Like something's going down with her.
What?
And look, I'm not educated on it. There's been a couple podcasts covering what's going on with her.
Okay.
But it has encouraged me to take the advice in here with a grain of salt.
She's like an economist, right?
I still think this is interesting. And, you know, the thing about having kids is that there's so much conflicting information out there, literally anything you can possibly imagine. So I'm just dipping in and out of this. And like I said, taking it with a grain of salt, but I do think the writing is good. Like it's kind of a fun read.
I never read that.
And I also have been consulting this Moms on Call book about baby care 0 to 6 months. And I do find this to be helpful. Again, grain of salt. It like walks you through like how to give your newborn a bath, how to clip their nails, things that like I don't know.
Yeah.
One thing that also made me laugh, the book in general is very serious in tone. It's not meant to be funny and silly, but I did get a kick out of it on the page that tells you how to clip your baby's nails. Like the first step is like, make sure no one else is around to see you do this.
Truly.
I was like, why? What's going to happen to me?
Just to be clear, Elena's just taking little snippets from these books. We are not adhering to anything specifically, any sort of methods one way or the other. So
I do not
keep that
endorse
in mind.
any methods of parenting. I don't know.
To each their own. And yeah, we're all trying to figure it out.
Yep. You know, when you're such a bookworm, it's just like too tempting, you know?
Yeah.
You're like,
you're a librarian. You literally are like, you look
right
for books for information.
Yeah. Next on the docket, we do have a vlog coming up that is focused on strategies to help us get off of our phones and read more. I am so excited about this video concept because I need it. We're going to test some things out and report back on which strategies are the most effective. So in that video, I'm planning to read the new Abby Jimenez.
I really like this cover. I think it just looks so colorful and pretty.
And I've heard good things. Like,
yeah,
I've heard some good reviews trickling in so far about this one. So Say You'll Remember Me is going to be up next. I hope this dog is a character.
You always do.
What are you going to read in the vlog?
Well, I just finished The Stolen Heir by Holly Black, which is the spinoff series from the Cruel Prince trilogy, and I really, really liked it.
Ooh.
It does not follow Jude and Carden, at least the first book doesn't at all. Like they aren't in it at all, and I actually kind of like that. I thought Ren was a really cool main character. I really liked Oak. It takes me a second to get back into Holly Black world because maybe I'm a baby, but like they are appalling. The world is harsh. And the beginnings of the books or the series always start with like basically the main character being ripped out of a happy, healthy home and thrown into the fairy world. And it's like rough. And it's like disturbing to me. So I'm always, it's always an adjustment period. But once I get over that, I love Holly Black's world. I love the fairy world. It is so unique. It is so immersive. And I really, really enjoyed this first book. So in the blog, I will be finishing the duology by reading The Prisoner's Throne. And it's from Oak's point of view, which I'm really excited about. And the second one, I'm already probably a little more than halfway through it.
Nice.
But I will also be finishing Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry.
I'm going to read this too.
You're going to read this a physical copy? Or what are you going to do? Because I have it on audio right now.
I might get it on audio or Kindle just because it's so much easier for me to read right now.
And because we cannot pass up with Julia Whalen.
Exactly.
Yeah. And she is spot on as always from what I've listened to so far. But this is definitely different than her other books. I'm curious to hear like if you like it or not.
Interesting.
It's really giving Taylor Jenkins Reid to me. It's giving Evelyn Hugo, if I'm honest.
I liked Evelyn Hugo.
I didn't dislike it, but I've also already read that book.
Right.
And you know how I feel about books that are very similar to other books.
True. Interesting.
So I'm not quite sure how I feel about it, but throughout the course of the vlog, maybe I will come to love it. One book that is on my TBR, or pretty much up next, is this that I got. Olivie Blake's new one, Gifted and Talented.
This is appealing.
It is, isn't it? I mean, I've heard great things about this author and never picked up anything by her. And it's always like weird when then you pick up their newest release and you feel like guilty, like you should have.
Like I should start from
the beginning. Yeah. But this one seemed really interesting. It kind of sounds like Succession, but with like some sort of magical realism or fantasy element. I always love a cast of like a family dynamic situation. So I'm really interested to see what this is like. And the book is so cool. Hold on. Gorgeous. I don't know why. I just think that's hilarious that she's put that on the inside cover.
Makes me smile.
Yeah. And like this does not exactly seem like a happy-go-lucky book. But I certainly do hope it makes me happy.
All right. And lastly, I did recently sign up for an Illumicrate subscription. There's like a short wait list that you have to do, but it didn't take that long. And this is the April box that I thought I'd open with you. But first, the whole reason I signed up for Illumicrate in the first place was to get these special edition 10-year anniversary Song of the Lioness Quartet books by Tamora Pierce. These books are everything to me.
They're so pretty.
They're gorgeous, aren't they? The spines.
The spines, yeah.
I mean,
the page. What are this? The edges?
Yeah. What do you? The page edges.
Remind us. You guys always tell us like what they're called.
Yeah, we always forget. Just so pretty. Let me show you the best one. I can't even pick the best one. That's how they're all so pretty. Gorgeous. Full art. They're all digitally signed by Tamora Pierce. This is the inside cover, features a scene from the book. Iconic scene. Oh my God. Look at the book itself is gorgeous.
It's also like holographic. Do you see that? So it looks like you can look inside the windows.
I mean, it's just stunning in every way. I'm so happy to have these to display. I have many copies of this series, and I'm sort of deciding to collect them all.
Yeah, you should. It's your favorite of all time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I love like seeing all the different covers, how it's changed over the years, but I truly believe this series is timeless. I will be forcing my daughter to read them when she gets old enough.
Wow.
I think everyone should read these.
I'm excited to see what's in your new box, though.
Yeah, there's a surprise book that I don't know what it is.
Okay.
And then there's stuff, too.
Okay, I've never done this before.
Neither have I.
Yeah.
On the top, there's like a little pamphlet. It says Rival Realms, which was the theme for April.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's not the name of the book. The featured book is The Raven Scholar by Antonia Hodgson.
Have I heard of that or not?
Interesting. Okay, so the items in here are not necessarily related to the featured book. So, for example, there is a City of Starlight puzzle in here, inspired by Valaris. So we've got a straight up Akatar puzzle, a Dragon's Dawn tote bag, inspired by Voyage of the Damned, which I didn't read. Have you read that?
No, I haven't.
And then we have the Aurora and Aphelion postcard set. Didn't read that either.
By what? Trial of the Sun Queen?
Yeah, Trial of the Sun Queen.
I want to read that.
And Cosmic Fray Sun stickers. I don't even know what that's inspired by.
This is very romantic-y. Heavy.
Yes, no kidding.
That makes sense. Illumicrate Chem is pretty romantic-y heavy
I
usually.
think I signed up. I think this is like the
romantic-y
I
box.
think they just call it fantasy.
Right.
I could be wrong. I'll put the details in the description box. Like I said, I only signed up to get the Tamora Pierce special editions. But now I'm kind of like, ooh.
Yeah.
Look at all this stuff.
The book looks really pretty though.
Yeah, and it's like, it is nice. It came wrapped very nicely.
I love the artwork that they choose for these. I think like they always do a really good job.
Win the throne, destroy an empire. Either way, it begins with murder.
Dun, dun, dun.
All right, that pretty much wraps up where we're at right now.
What we're doing, what we're reading.
In life, in our book worlds.
Yeah.
I need to up my game. Hopefully this vlog helps me.
Exactly. This is the perfectly timed vlog for us to figure out how to amp up our reading just in time for summer too.
Yes.
If you guys have any good recs of books that we should be picking up, as always, please let us know in the comments. We have pretty much loved almost everything we've read that you guys recommend.
Yeah. Nothing like a personalized recommendation, you know?
Yeah.
So if you enjoyed hearing our updates, please give this video a like, leave a comment down below, and subscribe if you are new. We so appreciate all of our new subscribers.
And until our next video, we'll see you later.
See you soon.